Update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. I have not felt more unsure about which way crypto is going in the next few months, says Zach Blackstone. Do you feel that way? Don't worry. I'm going to help you. Altcoin winners, altcoin losers, and when will Bitcoin dip, bottom, and then take its place and outperform everything? If you want all these answers, stay right here. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live or posting new videos. And if the content works for you, hit the like button. Okay, let's welcome who's here. We have Zach and Megan here first. Welcome. Right, we're going to give people a couple minutes to file in. And then we're going straight into the news, just so you know. Okay, Michael Saylor will be on Miss Teen Crypto's show, I believe, at 4 p.m. Eastern. This will be probably the biggest YouTube interview in a long time, because if Michael Saylor can get a rally going, okay, that could change things, particularly for Bitcoin. All right. In other words, there may be a major short squeeze in process. Now, if Michael Saylor comes out and says negative things about altcoins, or a Michael Saylor rally fails, then you better look out into next week or into the end of the month. But for right now, we're going to hope Michael Saylor can turn the tide, because I'm tired of being bearish. I mean, I want to buy it in July. You just have to be careful about chasing green candles in this market. Okay, so we have Phoenix. Wrong again. Yes, total 3, probably headed for a new low. Reverend Flashback is here. Welcome. Philip giving me the sheepdog love. Thank you. Right. Chance 5 zeros. What's up? Okay, here we go. News. Lots of it. RFK Jr. says he has to be careful of Uncle Sam. Be advised. Michael Saylor, politicians, even the snakes that run BlackRock will be on the tape very soon, pushing back against Gensler and saying positive things about crypto to get votes. Whatever Gensler is doing right now, he is doing it to orchestrate a crash in crypto and in altcoins in particular. Unfortunately, at the moment, it's working. We'll see what happens as we head into quarter end, whether or not there will be panic liquidation. But make no mistake about it, there are groups of people out there willing to push back against Gensler, the administration, and their deep state agenda to basically take all of your freedom away. This from 2 days ago, U.S. government agencies hit in a global cyber attack, reminding us how much our enemies want to destroy us, and why would we want to destroy ourselves? Okay, Nigeria's currency comes completely unglued. Another reminder that there are people out there that need crypto, and no matter what your level of despair is, remember, don't let speculation change you or put you in a state where you're too discouraged to do crypto. Because whoever is buying bread with this, okay, they need crypto. French AI fundraising sensation shows Europe's Got Talent. It's amazing how you can say, oh, I'm in AI, and they'll throw $20 million at you. Amazing how the stock market goes up on a nebulous theme that AI will change the world, justifying huge layoffs, right? And massively higher stock prices. Meanwhile, the decentralized AI themes, the metaverse, and all the things that in crypto will be so important to our future, not even on anybody's radar. The best time to do your homework and pick winners is when everything is down and no one's paying attention. Pace of U.S. inflation eases, or so we are told. Okay, you want to know why inflation is probably not easing? Because the stock market goes up every day. In other words, if I had a levered long position in NVIDIA and it went up every single day, because $1 in stocks is better than $1 in the bank, and they never met a mania that they didn't like, and that mania is nowhere close to the last mania from 1999, right? If I had a leveraged NVIDIA position and I'm just printing money, I'm going to go out and buy steak. I don't care if it's $14 a pound, $18 a pound. I don't care, because I'm making so much money. So if the Fed can't stop the stock market, they can't stop inflation. This may be one of the many reasons why crypto trades so badly, right? Jerome Powell left 50 basis points in his pocket to try and stop the stock market. He didn't tell you that, but that's what he meant. Make no mistake, inflation will never come down as the stock market continues to go up the way it has. ECB increases rates to highest levels since 2001. Again, not good for altcoins that these central banks are drawing a line pointing to whatever inflation metric they can to justify rate hikes. They're trying to stop the stock market, and they're not going to win, at least not right now. U.S. bank regulators selling off Silicon Valley Bank's assets. It's always interesting to see after the fact how when places blow up and there are bailouts, that some private sector entity winds up making a fortune buying the distressed assets. I'm actually glad they report these things. In some ways, it's almost like they're orchestrated. Little guy loses, big guy wins. Citigroup set to cut 5,000 jobs in the first half of this year. Wall Street cutting 11,000 jobs. This is AI, right? This is, of course, AI and this laughable thing where as stocks go up, everyone has figured out that the way to make their stock go up is to lay people off and claim AI is going to create efficiencies. It's as simple as that, right? And everyone is jumping on the bandwagon, and it's really, really twisted, right? The way to make stocks go up is to lay people off and talk about AI. The higher stocks go, the more the Fed hikes rates, right? People losing jobs can't get new jobs because the Fed is hiking rates. But if the stock market continues to go up, you could have this spiral between unemployment and rising rates that destroys the little guy. Now, I know we don't look at people who work at Wall Street firms as little guys, but a lot of them take commuter trains. A lot of them ride, 1 hour to work. 11,000 people inside banks is not necessarily all top executive, evil empire type guys. So the higher the stock market goes, the worse things are literally for everybody except the people who own stocks. Such a strange world we live in. And of course, for crypto people, it's nauseating, to watch the decoupling happen the wrong way. U.S. consumer year ahead expectations for inflation, lowest since 2021, but the Michigan Consumer Confidence Sentiment Index is now up to 63 at a 4-month high. Of course it is. Stocks are going up. If stocks are down, people are down. If stocks are up, people are up. They're going to spend money. I don't care what the data says. The economy will follow the stock market, not the other way around. So if the Fed wants to reduce demand, it's got to stop the stock market. And I don't think it's going to be able to do that for some time. Now, that's causing a lid on crypto for now. Once crypto gets loose and once the equity delusion ends as badly as it did back in 2000, that is the dawn of crypto. Fed officials say rates may need to go higher to tame whatever the inflation statistic of the month is. Whatever. They need to keep a lid on equities, or try to. And that's probably also hurting crypto, as I'm saying. New York City rent surge. Stock market up, rents up. Microsoft now owning AI. Everyone was down on crypto. Gensler coming after all of Web3. It is absolutely incredible how a centralized government is willing to turn control over, just about everything. to a handful of companies, starting with Microsoft. Microsoft put the capital E in evil empire. I mean, Gates owns all the farmland in the world, and it's amazing how we're turning society over to the likes of Microsoft, and no one's interested in a decentralized version, which, again, one day they will be. It takes a scary AI moment to do so. So the stock market continues to gain almost all the headlines, okay? There was an options expiration day in equities. I don't know if that's going to create a top. Word is that, you know, big players are going to have to sell stocks and buy bonds to do what's called rebalancing at the end of the quarter. We'll see. We'll see. You know, stocks are up only at the end of a quarter. It's always dicey. But if the Fed doesn't stop the AI craze, I'm not sure what does. Okay. Ethereum devs cry foul on Uniswap's open source promises. So equities are eating our lunch. You know, Gensler is chasing us out of the village and into the river. And what we got in crypto is Ethereum devs arguing about Uniswap's code. I don't know. Is there like that emoji? You know, it makes me sad. Proving that the only way to make money at Wall Street is to lose money, or the only way to get famous at Wall Street is to lose money. Former FTX Ventures head goes into AI with a Menlo Park, California Ventures Club. So, guess it's awesome to have FTX on your resume. Great. Crypto lender insolvent for months, noticing that the media is now picking up on either crypto disaster headlines or anything that seems rather negative. FDIC targets crypto exchange. Does it ever end? No. Jack Dorsey, this is interesting, pledges $5 million to help Bitcoin core developers. Okay, so Bitcoin maximalists are going to figure out very quickly that they've got an opportunity to make Bitcoin the center of DeFi and NFTs, right? Anything that runs on the Bitcoin network is likely going to fly underneath the radar, and they're going to need a privacy layer on top of that. So hopefully Jack is writing a check, and hopefully Saylor steps up and says he's writing a check or is going to undergo within MicroStrategy a massive developer sort of boom to get things moving on Bitcoin. So, I mean, if Gensler is throwing a punch to hurt altcoins and Bitcoin suddenly has positive catalysts, we'll go into the charts in a minute. You may have a lot of reasons why Bitcoin could massively outperform alts. I mean, work that me and Toby did said Bitcoin is going to do just fine. The worst is probably over. You know, they can make a new low to 24. The worst is probably over in Bitcoin. It's not to the moon and beyond, but, you know, there's upside when this is over. The same's true for Ethereum. Just that one of the things that I'm thinking is that Bitcoin may dramatically outperform over the next 4 weeks. In other words, Bitcoin may go up more on rallies, and then Bitcoin may hold in steady if there's another vertical drop. So we're going to see how that works. So welcoming some other people. We've got Phoenix, right? John, wrong again. Bucci, Lexi, welcome. Reverend Flashback, Wesley, Allen, Rave Song Records, right? Eric here from Israel, welcome. Okay, Kennedy wants to buy in June and let it fly. I say buy in July and let it fly. I'm hoping at some point the market gives us a chance to do so. Okay, Baby Whale, Fernando, Wob, welcome. He says, I hate Dorsey. He let Twitter go after so many innocent people. Isn't it amazing how Dorsey got a pass seemingly on the whole Twitter files thing? You know, especially in the media, right? I mean, he was selling our souls to the government on Twitter, and then he's kind of trying to reinvent himself or kind of stick to the fact that he wants to be a Bitcoin good guy. Jack, I want you to stay a Bitcoin good guy because, again, in crypto, we're kind of all in this together. But, thank God he sold Twitter and moved on with Elon. At least give him credit for walking away from the censorship meat grinder, even though that was probably just a big payday. Mark Cuban joins in on the pushback against the SEC. Unintended consequences. Unintended consequences. Okay. Big Buddha is here from down under. Welcome. Along with Miami Crypto. Michael says, when moon? When moon is when people push back against Gensler after a selling climax. There's a selling climax and people start pushing back against Gensler. That's when it's on. Bank of China issues $28 million in digital structured notes on Ethereum as China continues to bypass U.S. capital markets. China throws weight behind BRICS expansion, wants more Bitcoin. So the United States government's idea of a good idea is to push Bitcoin towards BlackRock and China. I mean, in some ways, we don't have to have foreign powers invading our country. It feels like foreign powers are running our country. Ask anybody who lives in San Francisco. Following the second arrest, the 45th president of the United States has an NFT project that's issuing prizes. Interesting that I believe Matic was the network used to issue these NFTs, and Disney and Starbucks and everybody else was lined up to work with Matic to the point where, it was almost not fair how many partnerships Matic has. Conveniently, they are now being called a security. I mean, Gensler is after not just currency, but he's after Web3. Probably because Silicon Valley has got him in his pocket. So the French are here, right? The French are here, okay? The French think Binance is doing money laundering. Every Wall Street bank gets nailed every year for doing something wrong with KYC or AML. Okay. And now Binance is, of course, it's the French who says it's Binance's fault. It's almost embarrassing how late they're piling on. Just a reminder, what has the French government ever been right about? As I recall, a month or so ago, they had their citizens storming their stock exchange. But of course, it's crypto's fault. Let's blame CZ for everything. Megan said she liked the Twitter space I was on yesterday. She said that there were a couple of individuals on the space that she did not agree with. And that's great because that's why they have me there. They're actually Wolf and Kelly from BitLab have been inviting me back to Twitter spaces. Tune into my Twitter to find out when those things go down. Crypto traders are on the OTC market now. So I guess people think that we're not going to trade crypto. That's just absolutely not true. That's not true. Right now, what hurts is that the little guy who was using Coinbase is probably left in kind of a pickle, which is what the SEC wants. Wendy O was all on this, and the SEC is trying to push the little guy out of crypto. And I was like, all right, well, that's a good shock jock line, but, she's been vindicated because, crypto people will hang out in the decentralized ooze and do Uniswap and that stuff. And big players can do OTC, but what about the little guy, man? How does the little guy get $3,000 into Bitcoin if they just clamp down on or any altcoin? They just keep clamping down on these exchanges. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible for the little guy, right? Polygon, rolls out a huge blockchain use case. Yeah, they have a huge blockchain use case. And the thing I've said about Matic all along is Matic is great, but is the price of the token 50 cents or 5 cents? Matic, like any of these layer ones, will work just fine. I think even if the token has a much lower price. Art and stocks are not correlated. I thought people were going to buy art because there's going to be trouble with stocks. It looks like people just want to buy art. Okay. Sotheby's The Goose nets 6.2 million. Okay. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Art is going to be the cornerstone of Web3. Central banks, aka Big Brother 1984, successfully test 30 CBDC use cases. Okay. I'm sure one of those use cases is taking away your financial freedom. Probably not. They're going to need a way to do universal basic income. Okay, but I'm sure that's not why they want to do CBDCs. Right? Because as AI really kicks in later on, they are going to need to get people money in order to maintain social order. However, they will probably cloak the CBDC thing. And as Tucker Carlson said so aptly last night, these guys are becoming dictators right before our eyes. There's no backdoor about it. They want crypto out of the hands of the public. They want it in the hands. They want you to have to go to BlackRock to get Bitcoin, right? They want to send innovation over to China just so you can't have it, so they can tell you what to do. Naturally, feel free to explain this to your congressman and definitely make your presence felt come 2024 election time. Because remember, as dark as it may be now, 6 months from now, the dollar will be massively lower. Every politician will be on the tape trying to get the crypto vote, and the Bitcoin halving will be a couple of days, weeks, or months away. Remember, as negative as it looked back in December, think about how positive it looked at 32K in Bitcoin. At 16K, end of the world. At 32, it was going to the moon. Right now, we're in one of these periods where everyone's talking about regulation and clarity, where really what it is a price cleanse that gives you an opportunity. The Hinman documents. Let's talk about this. This was supposed to save XRP, okay? Not really. It didn't. So Hinman was this SEC person who, wrote a paper and gave a speech saying ETH was not a security. XRP or Ripple wanted to get this document. It took 7 court orders for the SEC to finally turn it over. And really all it showed was that this guy actually invented this scatterbrained, random, no organization, no legal framework process to just arbitrarily say whether something was centralized or decentralized. So Hinman, I don't know, he didn't save XRP, right? XRP just got a hold of this to show how arbitrary the government really was. So not a miracle. But that doesn't mean that XRP doesn't have the SEC backed into a corner, which is why Gensler is suing exchanges and not projects. So XRP may go down 10%, or XRP may get whacked on the next, drop in altcoins. But some of the work I did with Toby would indicate that XRP, that the worst may be over, right? And that when that thing turns around, you could be talking about new highs. It's better to talk about XRP going down 10% and DCA. The only coin, assuming they don't lose the lawsuit, that DCA makes sense to me, at least right now, might be Bitcoin and XRP. In ETH, I think you wait till below 1,500. So Hinman didn't save XRP, but XRP, I think, is going to save itself because they're going to beat the SEC. You cannot be random in what you say as a regulatory agency and then claim somebody broke the law. It's just not going to work. BlackRock files for a spot Bitcoin ETF, a trust. We go back and forth as to what they want. Okay, here's what people want to happen. They want Bitcoin to go up. The fact that BlackRock is filing for one of these things in the middle of an SEC, the SEC medieval event, and BlackRock says, oh, well, we'll take control of Bitcoin for you. Let us do it. I mean, I can't believe anybody would want that, at least in crypto. Now, we know BlackRock is going to come in and start hoovering up, say whatever was left of FTX or Coinbase. I mean, we know BlackRock's going to get involved. It's just so disgusting to watch this orchestrated dance where giant corporations are going to control access to how Joe Public gets in control of Bitcoin. The current Bitcoin ETF does not work. I mean, it works, but you don't get the performance that you would get if you just held Bitcoin. So BlackRock wants to do some sort of fund. That's terrific, right? The last thing we need is more Gensler and more BlackRock. I would prefer to see BlackRock chasing crypto innovation than having BlackRock move in to hoover up everybody's capitulation and make Gensler and the administration feel better. Because Gensler and the administration are the ones who are handing it all to BlackRock. Because BlackRock has compliance people, which the SEC and the Fed and the administration can lean on. And BlackRock has undoubtedly paid everybody up the chain to make them the custodians of crypto. Yes, BlackRock's product could bring in a lot of institutional money into Bitcoin. I've heard this, probably from people who are long, okay, or want Bitcoin to go up or don't want Bitcoin to make a new low. Now, the fact that BlackRock is in business may limit Bitcoin downside. I expect that. I expect Bitcoin to do a lot better than Ethereum in the short term. Now, Ethereum is going to have its day probably in 2 weeks. Ethereum is in a lot better position than people think. It's just not in a position to outperform Bitcoin right now. Okay. Basically, the best way to push back against BlackRock, I think, ultimately, is going to be Ethereum. I'm a former assistant U.S. attorney working on 2 Supreme Court confirmations and clerked for federal judges. The recent indictment is outrageous and shocking. Now, I know you may not believe this. Okay? I know you may not believe this, but just remember, a divided country is a country whose currency is no good. Remember how we started out with Nigeria? Remember this? You know what the first step to this is? Is presidents arresting political opponents. Okay? The integrity of this has a political element to it. It has a political element to it. A family earning $75,000 a year can only afford 23% of homes for sale. 5 years ago, it was 50% of listings, which is ironic because, again, the stock market continues to go up. The Fed has to hike rates, and who gets hurt? The little guy, because cars and houses become more expensive. It's amazing. Like, you know, since we started printing money or since COVID, like everything that you would think works in the economics textbook is not working. Mainly because of this AI revolution or the pricing in of the AI revolution. Now, just as a reminder, back in 1999, they priced in every good thing the internet was ever going to do for 15 years. They priced it all in a year. And they're probably going to do the same thing with AI. They're going to price in the job efficiencies. They're going to spend the next 3 or 4 months doing this and that, pricing it all in. Now, JP Morgan, it says that stocks are going to have $150 worth of rebalancing sales. Bank strategists say they expect equities to correct up to 5%. Okay, what I think is going to happen is that mutual funds and pension funds can now start buying stocks and probably bonds, because volatility in both has been reduced and stocks are on that very steady climb up. So stocks may continue to go up, and crypto people may have to continue to watch this nauseating thing happen until maybe it ends in October. Okay. In other words, equities never met a bubble that they didn't like, and they may just carry on. Okay, let's say hello to who's here and then go to live TA. Actually, we'll go to PowerPoint first for a very brief slideshow. Okay. Megan says it's all rigged. Okay. Lexi says bread gets more expensive everywhere. Just like stocks go up here, stocks is our bread. Right. And the grocery store is unbelievable. Okay. Unbelievable. Okay. Unbelievable. Paris is here. Welcome. Alan says Canada is bad, but nothing like the you-know-what show in the USA. You know, so true. So true. Lawn Shark is here. Welcome. Okay, let's get into PowerPoint. Ethereum versus Bitcoin. I have DeMark work on this, and now I have a very simple diamond formation. Ethereum is breaking down versus Bitcoin, or Bitcoin is breaking out versus the rest of the market. If Bitcoin has a bid, or if Bitcoin reluctantly goes lower near the end of the month, which I still think is possible, okay, it is going to do so at the expense of most altcoins. Do not buy green candles in altcoins. Do not. It's not investment advice, but I don't want y'all to get wrecked. It is very tempting to look at what's going on in Bitcoin and think this means it's a reversal for the overall market. What it means is Bitcoin is entering an era where it's going to dramatically outperform altcoins, which means what? Well, it means one, when the market goes up, Bitcoin will go up more than the average altcoin, or stay up longer than the average altcoin. On the way down, if Bitcoin goes down 3%, altcoins will go down 10. If Bitcoin goes down 10%, alts will go down 40%. Now, yes, I realize that just happened. That may be an easy thing to say, but it's definitely not an easy thing to keep saying into the end of the month, even into July 4th, right? There's going to be a turn in July, but you don't get a turn until you get a burn, right? So buying green candles, thinking that a comment by Michael Saylor or anything that the evil empire at BlackRock does is actually bullish for the overall market, I would disagree with that. Okay, MicroStrategy. Okay, let's talk about who we do want to have faith in. So MicroStrategy is in a diamond. It's got a range between 237 and 326. This is the Bitcoin ETF. I don't know why everybody thinks we need one. Saylor already built one. He already built it. This is the spot Bitcoin ETF because Saylor can attach Bitcoin development using his software company. So, I mean, this is the greatest way to own Bitcoin. Now, support's at 237, resistance is at 326. Maybe Bitcoin gets hammered on the downside and then turns around and breaks out at 326. Or MicroStrategy holds a bid, the dollar starts going down, and then Bitcoin eventually just breaks out in July. That's what I'm thinking. Because again, the work I did with Toby would indicate Bitcoin and ETH are okay, but Bitcoin seems to be in a much better position, kind of emerging from all this victorious, right? So either the lows are in Bitcoin or the low will be in very soon, right? Now, conversely, when and if Bitcoin breaks out, because it looks like it's going to take a while for MicroStrategy to get out of this diamond formation, Bitcoin may do well, but it's probably not going to go to the moon near term. So when I say do well, it means kind of hold its value. So a little meme action here with two of our favorite crypto politicians. BlackRock says chill out on the crypto laws. Actually, BlackRock wants to keep them right on going because they know that the whole world is going to be crying where, oh my God, we need BlackRock to save the legitimacy of crypto. We need these institutions to make crypto legitimate. Whatever. Whatever. I mean, we're either going to lie to ourselves about that or we're going to be stupid and hand it to the Chinese. Either way, it makes me want to put a bag over my head. Okay. Wendy O, oh, I'm so excited for the BlackRock spot ETF. Safety and security for Bitcoin, and everyone will have equal access. And don't forget, institutions are in control and they can be trusted. It's like Silicon Valley happens, Silicon Valley Bank happens, banks fail, and then the government is rushing to put all the control over Bitcoin into one player's hands. Insane. I mean, BlackRock already owns the whole country as it is. Now, to be fair, okay, Crypto_McKenna notes that, when they were able to do a spot Bitcoin ETF, a spot gold ETF, right, in 2003, gold took off and exploded. So obviously, if you could ever get a legit ETF in the market, that would be constructive. I get it, which is what could limit Bitcoin downside, right? The whole market gets ruined. You know, Bitcoin may only see 23K. So yeah, a spot Bitcoin ETF is bullish Bitcoin. People want to be bullish Bitcoin. I want to be bullish Bitcoin. I just don't want to buy green candles and get wrecked. That's what I don't want to do, and that's the market update. Okay. Let's see who's here. Megan wants to smack some heads together. I don't blame you. Okay. If you own shares in a BlackRock ETF, you own 0.00 BTC. Good point. Good point. Okay, let's share screen. Okay, so we got a nice Ethereum pump going on. Okay, everyone gets caught short. This is a 90-minute chart, so this whole dump unwinds itself. Okay, you have an A, B, C correction. Okay, so if you're looking at this over the weekend, so very constructive how they run stops below this dotted line and bring it back up. Okay, now just remember how this all went down over Memorial Day weekend. They ramped it over the weekend, and then that was the top, and they dropped it. So obviously, I'm happy that the market is going up. However, it doesn't make me want to do and FOMO into a green candle. Now, if there's a thing that I can't really resist FOMOing into, it's AGIX. It's the decentralized internet, right? You have a 13 and a 9 bottom. You have a great DeMark 5 wave with an end of downtrend signal here. I mean, if I had to buy something, I'd be buying XRP on the dip and AGIX. Yeah, it's really hard to stay away from this. Got to be honest. Okay. QNT up huge today. You know, the payment plumbing idea. Okay. Notice, you know, this is kind of classic where you would have a 9 bottom and then the countdown phase. This is like advanced DeMark where the countdown would get to a 4 and reverse. So you're probably looking at a major bottom. I mean, the God candle makes it look obvious, but from a DeMark point of view, you're probably looking at a major bottom in QNT right there. You know, we're at the point where if there's a new low in total 3, right, certain altcoins are going to do better than others, right? In other words, the new low in total 3 will be because there's a wipeout probably in the altcoins that the SEC is after. But people are going to start picking winners early. QNT, everyone piling in. Chanel says, I need a 20X. Yes, I agree. Right. I have some altcoins and I'm holding GLDN, gold, bark, gold, water, diamonds. You know, we're all waiting. I'm comfortable being patient, mainly because GLDN held in so well as everything else crashed. Okay. Wrong again wants me to take a look at total 3. Just cannot find anything good to say about total 3. Okay. So total 3 is still inside of this range, right? Still inside of the range. Now, if we go to a 4-hour chart, I'm sorry, it's still inside the range and the target is a new low for the move. Now, let me tell you something that, you know, let me try to tell you something new, okay, about total 3. Let's try some hidden pivot analysis. Okay, so I would say a tactical bottom in total 3 would be 290 billion. And that's basically how I would draw it. So the thing about total 3 is it looks like it's pulled up short of tactical support, which I kind of hate, right? If total 3 had just puked itself out to 291 billion, it might be over near term. But there just feels like too much downside risk here, right, to be FOMOing into a green candle. Be FOMOing into a green candle. This is catching my attention. So this is wheat futures. Okay, the long bear market may be over because of a drought. So hashtag bark. Sorry to just jump in on this. Okay. Balaj says Ren is at a multi-year low. It is. Okay. Ren is a bridge, as I understand it, a bridging instrument between Polkadot and Ethereum. Right. Now, whether this is meaningful or not, again, you know, you cannot have these altcoins retest old lows and fail and then still be good, right? I mean, yes, people wanted to buy the wick because that's always fun. But the thing is, people got to be willing to pay higher prices. So you got support that was at 0.54. That's now resistance. So if you get these rallies in altcoins and it doesn't make it, it doesn't rally. I don't know, man. It doesn't make me feel like, oh yeah, let's grab some of this stuff. I mean, what people are obviously grabbing here is Bitcoin up 3%. Right? That's what people want. Right? Because again, you know, Saylor hits Miss-Teen crypto relatively soon. Okay. Right. When she said that last night, that kind of ran chills down my spine when we were on a Twitter space. I mean, if somebody's going to come out and ram Bitcoin higher, it's Saylor. But remember, he says all altcoins are securities, and he's been saying that for a while. Okay, Gala. So Gala made a 9 bottom. It's got support at 0.021. So it's kind of hard to say anything negative about Gala unless it really breaks through this support point. So, I mean, I guess if people were holding this, they're going to continue to do so. All I can tell you about this is that you want to be careful about failed rallies, 1, and 2, there may be one more down week. Like there's a 13 bottom here. Okay, that was last week in Gala. This week we're sitting here on an 8 and there may be a 9. So you'll have a 13 and a 9 bottom. I mean, when you had a 9 bottom here in Gala, you did very well on the bounce. You did well. So there is a chance that, you know, there can be one more final heave and then it turns around. There's also the possibility that when you get a bottom like this and it doesn't work, that can be like a death sentence. Okay? A death sentence. Okay, ILV. Okay, so one of the things you always want to be mindful with 9 bottoms, right? So there's your 9 bottom. And sometimes after a 9 bottom, you can have a counter trend rally. Okay. So, I mean, this was wicked here in Illuvium where you were all the way up and then all the way back down. So you got a lot of brutal, choppy price action here. You know, this was like, oh my God, beware the failed rally. You know, buying green candles has not paid. It has not paid. It paid sort of on the way up. Really, you got paid to buy Illuvium when it was down. Illuvium is down relative to where it was at the start of the month. Do you want to FOMO in now? I would say no. Make them sell you these altcoins at great prices. Okay. Megan's asking about NEAR. Guys had a booth at Consensus and then were declared a security by the government. Sad. Okay, so like all these altcoins, they've got a 9 bottom, right? You know, if you look at where this is weekly, I mean, last week was the 13 bottom. Okay, so here was the 13 bottom in NEAR, and then it turned around and had to make one final puke before it turned up and went. This signal has to mean something. In other words, if there's going to be a rally in NEAR, you better see it like next 1 to 2 weeks. Now, I think at the end of the month, that's when it's going to matter. But if this is in the SEC crosshairs, then I think you got to start asking yourself what layer 1 is not in the SEC crosshairs, which is Avalanche. Probably because they have a security token function. That said, you know, like this is the weekly. There are all these 13 and 9 bottoms in Avalanche. I mean, my God, you know, last time you had a 9 bottom in Avalanche on a weekly chart was right here. Okay. And this thing just turned around and kind of smoked to the upside. I would love to see Avalanche and XRP follow Bitcoin and Ethereum when this is over. Because the altcoin market, the QNT rally is already telling you this. They kind of stole my thunder. They're going to start sorting out winners from losers in altcoins now, especially before any potential massive liquidation drop that occurs. Because I don't think crypto hedge funds have been able to fully get out of altcoins that they're stuck in. Big Rich said, yes, you did miss Gala. I can show it again on a weekly chart. There's a 13 bottom last week. There'll be a 9 bottom next week. This is weekly. Okay. When you get these signals, they better create rallies. Here you got a 9 bottom and it went up. You see these signals and you don't get rallies, then you know it's 4 more weeks of a beatdown. Okay. Megan says 25 cents Illuvium, not a chance. Let me go back to the chart. Okay, so I'm showing support in Illuvium at 36.80. Okay, that's where I would put that. You know, you're gonna start running into moving average resistance at 47. Again, not interested in buying green candles. I'm not really even interested in rushing into altcoins because I think you're going to have better prices over the next 4 weeks. Okay, so Algorand on a daily chart has the 13 bottom and the 9 bottom, and it hasn't moved yet. No, you see these signals, you had a 13 and a 9 bottom here, no rally. You see DeMark signals, they can be useful both ways. You wake up Monday and Algorand is at 15 cents. Well, obviously you knew these signals worked. However, if there is no rally off Algorand with these signals, you know that something is terribly wrong. Terribly freaking wrong, right? There's a 9 bottom here on the weekly chart. Again, what rally are you getting off this? If this is your like little counter trend rally, you know, you can have 1 to 2 more down weeks. And again, a 9 bottom here, it was like off to the races, green, green, green. So, okay, next week we'll come in. Hey, folks, I work in crypto. If it's all green, 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 that's awesome. But if it isn't, you better look out below. Okay. Mark said, I wonder if there was any discussion or talk at Consensus or the Bitcoin conference in Miami about this crash. Wow, that's a really good question. Okay, so there wasn't much talk of a crash at Consensus, right? Now, to be fair, at Consensus, most of the talk was down in the mouth, woe is me, about regulation. So they had the right theme. Me and Toby, or at least Toby, I should say, when she did her first reading on Ethereum, had something regarding regulation show up in the reading. So I guess we all knew it was coming. We just didn't know it was going to be a draconian attempt to create a crash. And I would imagine whatever was going on in Miami was party, party, party all the time, kind of a Bitcoin maximalist superfest. No one's talking about a crash. No one was talking about sell in May and go away. I said sell on Memorial Day and go away. I don't think many people listened except for the people on this show. Okay. And then, you know, you eye in July and let it fly. Like, let them come to you. These bottoming signals like Algorand, they're great. They're great if they work. If they work, right? Let's take a look at FLOW. So most of these cryptos are all showing the same thing. Bottoming signals on daily charts with no upside follow through. If you have a 13 and a 9 bottom in flow, it's counting the other way, right? Like, I'm not trying to pick on flow, but like this thing better be up Monday or Tuesday. Because if it's not, I mean, if these signals don't create bottoms, what creates a bottom? Right? Hopefully it's up on Monday. It should be based on this chart. PLS, a crypto or a typo? Okay. Got a little debate about Algorand going on here. Oh, Ocean. Oh my God, Ocean. Let's check it out. Okay, so this is like what I'm talking about. You get a 9 bottom, and then you get a burst up through resistance. There's moving average stuff here to try to stop it, but at least this is constructive in the sense that it reacted to a DeMark signal. Now, on the weekly chart, it's really been more of a bull flag. So, there's a what I would call in Ocean a lack of carnage. Okay, now the question is, has it paid to buy green? Right? It goes up, you get in, down. Now, maybe you get 6 more up days in Ocean, right? Because this is a 3, it stops on a 9. Maybe you have 6 more up days, right? But generally speaking, it has not paid to buy after big up moves. It has not. Now, you could get 6 more up days. If you held this, I don't see why you would get rid of it, especially if you're a long-term player, right? Looking at the bigger the base, the higher in the space. Okay, I always tell people you want to look for what's outperforming, okay, without getting too giddy about relative outperformance. Okay, Baby Well says crypto is about to, get people's attention with the dollar index going down. Okay, basically, I'm so bearish on the dollar index, it's hard to even show the charts. It's almost like I don't have to. Don't want to eat my own words there. Okay, so AKT. Okay, let's do some fib work here for Megan. So kind of classic here, right? It gets relatively close to the 62% retracement, and they can't even control themselves. They can't wait, and they're after it, right? 62% retracement was 44 cents. Whatever this is, people want it, right? Like, I don't know what this is, but nothing is acting like this, right? This is like a square formation. I call this either synthetics, or now it's called, named after Toby, it's essentially the Pepe formation, where you get this square consolidation, right? And normally these square consolidations lead to breakouts. So if you go from a crypto market to a market of cryptos where some altcoins are going to try to detach, that makes sense. You can have these like rotation trades. You just got to be careful about what happens at the end of the month. Okay. Monero. God, man, you got to tune in to our Twitter spaces for GLDN, Gold Retriever. Our CTO, Mind Your Biz, is a privacy coin expert. I mean, with all this stuff that's going on, man, if the case for privacy has not been made, I mean, Monero, there's a 9 bottom on a weekly chart. It's just below support at 135. It's hard to buy it below support. I'd love to buy it on the way back up. There's going to be a 9 bottom in 2 days, and it's below support. So maybe they've just washed everybody out here. You know, this is one of these things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, man. I swear I'd be looking for a place to buy. I mean, the one I liked, Zcash, kind of like an egg all over my face experience. Okay, like Monero performs much better than Zcash. You know, Zcash cracked, put in a 13 bottom, and now I can't find any sign of a rally or a reversal. It's like it went down and it just died. But there's got to be a way to do privacy. I mean, Zcash is back where the rally started from in December of 2019. I mean, maybe the government is just going to declare all this. Like, I don't know, maybe this is not as private as you would think. Right? But I do know that when this is over, you got to pick through the wreckage and find a privacy play that you like. Big Rich, I appreciate the love. Okay. Don't chase green. The market is going to start telling you which altcoins are going to outperform. You want to set up a DCA strategy in the ones that you believe in and the ones that are outperforming. Notice I said DCA, not buy on an update, because that's easy. Easy trades will get you killed between now and the end of the month. So stay positive, crypto, but be smart. We'll see you Monday.